we have to address the people in our culture, that's black culture, black media, that would rather say I told you so than educate anybody on anything. And by that I mean, so Amanda Seales came out with that, and now there's been this tirade against Amanda Seales' support of herself. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, of her support of Kamala Harris, and basically this whole thing of I told you so. I told like, and that where I have an issue with that is that, like I said, that's using the same predatory media tactics that are used against us by the people that we are trying to call out. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, so we're in my dark and twisted crazy ass mind. This is the In the Mind of Haize segment. And so, what do I have to talk to you guys about this week? And so, this topic is kind of one, I think this has been going on for about a week and a half. And that was, first,
I get called Uncle Tom and the N-word by progressives, by liberals. Believe me, I know firsthand, our healing is not finished. 100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
First, it was Tim Scott who said that America isn't racist. And, you know, when he said it, I didn't think to really comment on it. I don't even think I made a tweet. I don't think I said anything about it on social media because Tim Scott, and I know people have sit down with him, and I know they've said that like he really does want to do things to help the black race and the black culture. But ultimately, and this is my personal opinion on it, is that Tim Scott is a tool used by people who don't want to see change in this country. He's used to kind of pull the wool over black people's eyes, so to say, and he is a tool in a sense of white supremacy. That's my personal opinion. Now, the thing that this kind of all goes and blew up from is that Kamala Harris then came out and she made a statement, and where she went wrong, I think, in her statement personally, again, this is my personal opinion, is that she used the phrase, America is not a racist country. Now, she did say a lot out of that. After that, she said a lot after that, and almost everything that she said following that statement was all things that were true.
Well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to speak truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today. And I applaud the president for always having the ability and the courage, frankly, to speak the truth about it. He spoke what we know from the intelligence community. One of the greatest threats to our national security is domestic terrorism, manifested by white supremacists. And so these are issues that we must confront. And it does not help to heal our country, to unify us as a people, to ignore the realities of that. And the idea is that we want to unify the country, but not without speaking truth and requiring accountability as appropriate.
But the fact that out her mouth came out, America is not a racist country, it not only gave people a soundbite, it also gave people who don't do any type of research of their own and whatever is the social media headline, it gave them a lane to take it and run with it. And like, so some of the things that she followed up in saying after that was that we have to speak to the truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today. And then she also, applauded Biden for having the ability to speak on the truth of what, and that's the thing that I think kind of caught so many people off guard with this is that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris basically ran on the fact of fixing some of the inherent racism and issues going on in this country. And so when you have somebody who people supported, and we'll get into some of the stuff from that they're able to take that soundbite that America is not a racist country, you're giving them too much leeway. And I don't know who, if anyone, helped her prep for this, if there was a team of people, whatever. But the one thing that should have, again, this is in my opinion, should have been drilled is to not repeat the phrase, America is not a racist country. It should not have come out her mouth. Again, this is my opinion because, like I said, you give too much leeway. And unfortunately, people in our culture, people in American society in general, they will see the headline, they will run with it, they will make whole think pieces and everything and never once dig deeper into more that was said in that statement. And so she gave them that. You gave them that. And unfortunately, you know, and Amanda Seales, and that's what I was talking about, like some of her supporters and backlash that came from this. You know, she came out and said that by Kamala Harris saying that Kamala Harris embarrassed her and her supporters. I can understand that part. But here's where we go again, and we go off to another branch. We have to address the people in our culture, that's Black culture, Black media, that would rather say I told you so than educate anybody on anything. And by that I mean, so Amanda Seales came out with that, and now there's been this tirade against Amanda Seales' support of herself, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, of her support of Kamala Harris, and basically this whole thing of I told you so. And that where I have an issue with that is that, like I said, that's using the same predatory media tactics that are used against us by the people that we are trying to call out. And I mean, by that I mean this, is that the people who live for the more, haha, I told you so, look at this, look at that, Kamala, you look stupid for supporting her, XYZ, but yet you don't have anything to speak of on, okay, who should we support? Why? Other than Kamala saying, why should Black people be more educated? We see it now with Obama. There are so many people now, Black people, who come out and say Obama didn't really do anything for Black people. And I'm not saying that they don't have points. I'm not saying that some of the things that they point out are valid. I'm not saying that at all. But it's easy to be the hindsight person to always point out everything after the fact. Where are these same people who are very loud in calling out Amanda Seales, who are very loud at laughing at the fact that Kamala Harris said that America isn't a racist country and leaving out other parts of that statement? The people who now have issues and want to talk about Obama's presidency, where were you people at when the shit was going on, and when people were voting, when people had the opportunity, when the election was at an all-time high, that you were educating them on different avenues that their vote could go? Where would you suggest their vote have went? To Trump? And if that's the case, I'm not saying, if that's your opinion, then educate people on why that should have been that opinion. Not just this whole thing of, oh, look, you supported Kamala Harris, now she's saying America isn't racist. Like, that whole after the fact bullshit that people like to do and get caught the fuck up in is fucking equally as disgusting and predatory as anything else that anybody in the white media does, in my opinion. And so that's just my opinion on this whole nonsense, is that, A, read everything, people, before you, if something elicits a response to you, your first response, in my opinion, should be, let me go and see all of this. So that way I know it. And even if, and that's not to say that it's always going to be something that may add a new light to it, add a new perspective to it. It may be something that pushes you off even further. But at least at that point, you have the whole story, you have the whole statement, you have the full picture so that you can talk from. Just taking these Twitter headlines, these, like I said, the tweets, the headlines from fucking media that the whole purpose is to get a headline to get you to click on the link. You motherfuckers don't click on the fucking link. You don't. The purpose of a headline is, yes, it is to elicit a response, but it's to get you to click it so then you can read it and then you can form your own opinions. These, like, so many of us just take the headline and we just run with it. Reading is fun to fucking mental. That's just period, point blank. That's what it is. Read, motherfuckers, read. It's simple. It's simple. If you're going to speak out on something, if you're going to sit there and use your, what is it now, 280, 240 characters on Twitter to make a response to something that you didn't fucking read fully, read the whole fucking article, people. And then secondly, like I said, even if The people in the black community who supported President Biden, who supported Vice President Kamala Harris, if it turns out, and this is one of the things that I tweeted after the election was decided, is that this is a first step. We still need to hold these motherfuckers accountable. So it's not to say, and if anything, Amanda Seales coming out about somebody she was very boisterous in supporting, if she came out and said that she's made an honest look and said, you have now embarrassed the people that supported you, that is making somebody earn your continued support. This whole thing of wanting to be the after the fact, ha ha ha, laughing and making people and speaking about shit the way that the motherfuckers do after the fact, come the fuck on. Educate people. It's easy to sit there and point out something that goes left and say, look, you're stupid for this after the fact, but yet you weren't doing anything to educate or calling this shit out other than the same motherfuckers who all they had to say was, well, Kamala Harris, she's never identified as a black person. That's all you had. Nothing with the politics. And so, I'm saying a lot about the people, and that's because it's me being somebody in the media. I take that shit seriously. But the thing that frustrates me with Kamala Harris' statement, so I've said there's more to it, but the thing, other than just her making the statement that she made, that I feel like if you pull that out and then she says everything else in it, it's okay. But besides that, and the thing that worries me personally about this, this cabinet, is that the right word? Why am I fucking stumbling over my words yet again? But the thing that worries me the most, and you'll see this a lot in a president's first term, because they try to get aiming to try to get that second term, and in the second term they get a lot of the stuff that they want rather than play politician. Is that this statement just felt like to me, like I said, it was somebody who, when she came out, for example, in that debate against Biden, and she was the little girl on the bus and she told that story. That story was to highlight how racism still affects us to this day, and we're still living through it. So when you now are in that seat of being the vice president and you still are trying to play politicians and do politics and appease people, that was an opportunity for her to get up there and say, no, we do have a racist country. We do have the values and the things that this country was built on racism. This country was built on the backs of black people. It was also built, if you look at, on genocide. Nobody from this country is native to this, right? None of our ancestors are. None of it, we're not Native Americans. We've never had a sitting Native American president. So just to think about the way that this country came into existence, and people will try to have you say that people were religiously gone after, so they came to America and they did all and revisit history. The genocide, the rape of Native Americans inherently is the basis of what this country was built on. Then you add in slavery. So yes, in my opinion, this country is based on racist ideals and a structure that was put in place to not want to see or not make it easy to see people like us succeed. Now, we have made chips in that. We have made progress. It's not to say that we have not made progress at all, but if you look at how things are disproportionately affects our culture and our community, you can't say that this country isn't racist. You can say that there are absolutely people in this country who's not. There are absolutely enough white Democrats who are tired of the shit just like we are, who are really agents of change, who want things to improve, who do and work and put in time and effort to see things make a difference. That's not to take away from their sacrifices and the time that they put in, but we have to be honest with where this country is. That's just my opinion. You may agree, you may not. That's all perfectly fine. Like I said, this is always the start of the conversation. This is not the end all be all. I would never think that I have that place to say that, but this is my opinions and I'm sharing it on this platform. I would love to hear from you guys if you feel differently and maybe you think some of my ideals are off left. Maybe you agree with even Tim Scott or Kamala Harris or whatever else. Let me know how you feel. That's just my opinion on it for this week. That is in the Mind of Haize segment. I know I got a little heated there, and I can get passionate when it comes to race and racism. But we're gonna go ahead. We're going to take a break. You're going to hear from another podcast. We're going to jump on the other side of that. We're going to head into the main discussion topic, where this one was actually sent in from a listener. So we'll get into it right after this. I'll see you guys there.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.